everything will change.
Well, not everything.
Hi everyone, let's talk about The Flash and what we know so far. If you remember, at the end of last season, Barry goes back in time and stops his mother from being killed by Reverse Flash. And that leads to what we call Flashpoint. And in case you don't know what Flashpoint is, we made a video and I'll link to it in the description in case you want to watch it.
But for now, let's share what we know about Flash Season 3, starting with Flashpoint.
Back in July, we were at Comic-Con and got a chance to be in the press room for The Flash and gathered some information from the cast and producers about what we can expect from Flashpoint. Their version of Flashpoint will be what Flashpoint would look like within their universe and what makes sense within the universe they created in the show. So while they will be giving some nods here and there to Flashpoint, and if you want to understand those, I highly recommend you actually read the comic. But other than that, they'll be doing kind of their own thing.
But one of the nods actually from the comic books that's going to be in the show is the fact that Barry is going to remember both timelines. So the original timeline before he changed it and the new timeline that came after that. So he'll remember both, but slowly but surely he's going to start forgetting the original timeline, the one that was there prior to Flashpoint.
The one we know.
Yes, the real timeline. I was thinking we should even have like a way of saying BF and AF, which is before Flashpoint and after Flashpoint. That's kind of like how we should
that
know.
would be kind of nice. This is how we're going to refer to it in our review.
Yeah, exactly. BF
or
and
AF.
And also in the new timeline, some of the cool stuff for Barry is the fact that his parents are actually alive. So both of the parents are actually alive, and he's super grateful about that, and he's obviously going to enjoy that part of the storyline quite a bit.
Also, we got quite a lot of information from the first trailer that was released, which I think give us a lot of hints as to what we can expect from Flashpoint, and we did a breakdown of the trailer. If you want to watch it, link in the description.
But Flashpoint will also have quite a few consequences for other characters in the storyline. So Wally West, AF, after Flashpoint, is actually now Kid Flash.
Finally!
Yes.
We thought that was going to happen last season. It never happened. But this season it's happening. We even saw him in his suit. We saw him in the trailer. It's happening. Kid Flash is happening. And turns out Iris, it looks like she might be helping him out in some way.
What's also interesting about Kid Flash in this timeline is that he doesn't have the same relationship with the police, right? And maybe they don't view him in the positive light that Flash is being viewed in. So that's a possibility. Speaking of the police, let's talk about Joe for a second. So Joe has a very interesting relationship with pretty much everyone in this timeline. First off, him and Barry, not close at all, because Barry actually never got to live with Joe. And that also brings up the fact that Joe and Iris, while still, father and daughter, don't have the closest relationship in the world, and possibly have something that happened that actually really tore them apart. So there's conflict there. And finally, Joe doesn't know about Kid Flash.
Yeah, I don't think he knows. When Jesse L. Martin was talking about that relationship, it seemed like he might not be aware of that part.
So it's very interesting for me to see how this whole disconnect, right, between Joe and Barry is going to have an effect, not just on Joe, but also on Barry, right? Because Barry will still remember the old relationship and the connection he had with old Joe, so to speak. But how is his new relationship with new Joe going to work out? Is this going to be like West Allen, where that's potentially going to come back, or is it never going to happen? I'm really interested to see.
And that leads me to talking about the effects of Flashpoint in general. Now, we know that Flashpoint will not last the entire season, and at some point, Barry will try to put things back together. But executive producer Andrew Kreisberg did mention more recently that Flashpoint would have a continued effect even after things are put back together. In a sense, this is a way for Barry to learn that you can't mess with time. And if you do, there will be consequences, like permanent consequences. So that means that even though we might put the timeline back the way it was, some things will remain unchanged, or some things will not go back exactly to the way they were, which is an interesting thing to have happen because that means sort of a mini reboot still that we're gonna have. As to the effects Flashpoint will have on other shows, it seems that it won't have an effect on Supergirl because it's another world, and also it seems like maybe Legends of Tomorrow won't be affected either.
Yeah.
That much. And then I think the only show that will have some sort of minor effect is Arrow, but it will be small enough that if you don't watch The Flash, you can still keep watching Arrow without being confused about that.
Yeah, I do wonder how they're going to integrate some of the comic book version of Flashpoint in the TV show universe, just because in the comic book, Batman is obviously a big, central figure. And I don't think they're going to obviously bring Batman in the TV show, but what's going to be the equivalent of that, right? Is there going to be a character that will serve as sort of like a substitute for the Batman character from the comic book in the TV show? I would guess Oliver Queen might fulfill that particular role, which might explain the impact of Flashpoint on Arrow. But, that's just me speculating. I don't know.
New characters. Jillian Dorn, who will be played by Tom Felton.
From Harry Potter.
Yes. He is a fellow CSI working with Barry, who has some suspicions that there's something more about Barry than what we see. We don't know much more about Jillian Dorn, but when he was offered the role, Tom Felton was told by one of the producers that there would be enough meat for him to sink his teeth into with the character, implying that there's more to Jillian Dorn than we know.
We're also going to meet Caitlin's mom, Dr. Carla Tannhauser, a world-class biomedical engineer, so that should make for some interesting scenes. The villains. We know there are going to be a couple of villains that are going to be very important in this upcoming seasons overall, and then a few others that came about. Let's talk about the first one, Dr. Alchemy. Dr. Alchemy has the ability of manipulating elements.
And the second one is another speedster called Savitar, who was a Cold War pilot that became a speedster after being struck by lightning.
Another speedster. Another Zoom, maybe?
Another Zoom. I mean, we get Kid Flash, the Flash, Zoom, Savitar.
It's gonna be Speedster Central!
Maybe Jesse Quick.
Okay, don't spread lies and rumors. A couple of other villains we know about. Magenta, with the ability to control metal. Mirror Master, who is sort of like an ego-tripped villain who has the ability of going through reflective surfaces and traveling anywhere in time.
Well, we changed shows.
Maybe not that.
Storylines. We're taking a trip to Gorilla City and meeting good old Grodd.
Yeah.
Who's been sent there.
It's going to be a two-parter.
No, yeah, it's a two-parter. I don't know if he's going to be very happy to see them, but they're going to spend time in Gorilla City. I don't know why.
King Kong, you got nothing on me. I just wanted to say it.
I'm actually really excited about this storyline. I don't know why. I think it'd be fun to see them in like a new city in a jungle somewhere. And of course, we're getting a Supergirl Flash musical crossover episode, which I'm very excited about. I actually talked about it on my channel. If you want to watch the video, I'll put it in the link. It's pretty much just me freaking out about how much I'm excited about this episode. I'm really excited about this episode. I'm really excited about this episode. They're gonna have 2 original songs, one in the Supergirl episode, one in the Flash episode, and all the other songs will be pre-existing songs, but I don't care because I'm just musical. You just got me right there.
You can really just add the word musical to anything and Sandrine is going to be excited.
Yeah, that's
really.
true.
Like, blah, 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 blah. Musical. What? Game of Thrones musical.
What? That would be amazing. Sorry.
See what I'm saying? You can tell from my face how I feel about this, so we don't have to talk about it.
And then we get another crossover episode, and this time it will be with The Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. So it's like a 4-way. Not 8, 4-way crossover episode that will happen later this year. It sounds like it'll be a global threat, which should be fun. At least I'm hoping it'll be fun.
It's like the Avengers, but on CW.
And that's all we know about Flash Season 3 so far.
Exactly.
Did we miss anything? Let us know in the comments. Also, let us know what you're looking forward to the most in this upcoming season. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe because we'll be reviewing The Flash and making more Flash videos coming up very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
You know, something that I feel like nobody's really talking about is what is going on with Harrison Wells and Jesse. Are they back? Because Tom Cavanaugh was at Comic-Con, so he's definitely going back.
We just don't know
but
how.
we just don't know. I feel like nobody's really saying anything about him.
Good guy or villain? Who do you want?
He's always in between so far. Actually, he made a point of saying that the first time that we met Harrison Wells, he seemed like a good guy, but he was a bad guy. The second time that we met him, he seemed like a bad guy, but he turned out to be a good guy. So what is it going to be this time?
I just can't wait. I really love that character.
I know. That's why I'm like, what's going on? Like, give me something.